Welcome back, everyone, to the smartest year ever, our quest to become the world's greatest conversationalist. My name is Gordy, and as our final culinary deep dive of Food Week, I was just wondering, what were the first restaurants, and where does that word restaurant come from? Give me 5 minutes. I bet you can work this into a conversation today, but first, like and subscribe if you haven't so you can keep up. I do this every single day. Public dining has a rich history that stretches back millennia. The ancient world had its own versions of eateries, so they weren't the same as today's modern dining format. They were taverns, inns, bustling marketplaces where you could buy prepared food. In ancient Rome, for instance, you had thermopolia, or places where hot things are sold, and these were essentially early fast food counters, identifiable by their L-shaped counters with large earthenware jars built in. Customers would stop by to buy pre-cooked stews, breads, and wine, often consumed standing up, making them the ancient equivalent of a grab-and-go meal, essentially. And the most sophisticated proto-restaurants in history existed in China during the Song Dynasty, which was between 960 and 1279 AD. And cities like Kaifeng and Hangzhou had a rich urban food scene. It was really interesting to read about. And these early restaurants were often multi-story buildings with different rooms and they had specialized menus, all of that. Chefs would serve a vast array of regional cuisines, from Sichuan spice to southern seafood, with waitstaff to take your order. They even used printed menus, a concept that wouldn't appear in Europe for centuries. They were also vibrant social hubs. They were often located in entertainment districts, and they showed a level of culinary and logistical sophistication that was unmatched at the world at the time and for many centuries, as I mentioned. And so while writing this one, I realized this is a highly debated topic, and every different culture wants to claim that they were first, to have the first restaurant. And I learned that when writing. The worst, I learn a lot, but the most frustrating writing for Smartest Year Ever is when I write an episode about something that I thought was true, and then after I'd already finished writing it, I find some other information that contradicts what I had already written, and so I have to go back and have this internal debate of whether I scrap the entire thing or if I modify it, or how do I work in the facts, because I just do have a big fear of putting out wrong information. I know it's bound to happen, but I really, really try hard not to give you bad info. So what is commonly cited is that the first modern format restaurant didn't arise until 18th century Paris. And so I'd originally written about this modern format restaurant in Paris, but then I learned all about these earlier proto-restaurants in China. So that's why I added that. I wanted to give credit to those early Chinese proto-restaurants, so I didn't completely miss that. In the 1760s, a man named Monsieur Boulanger, or possibly Mathurin Rose de Chantoiseau, depending on which source you believe, opened a shop near the Louvre selling restorative broths and soups. He offered specific dishes, like a broth of fowl and fresh eggs, and a dish of sheep's feet and white sauce. Yum. And these were considered light, health-giving foods. Above his door, a sign declared in Latin, and I'll try to remember to put the Latin phrase up because I'm not going to try to read it, but it said, "Come to me, all whose stomachs are troubled, and I will restore you." And this act of restoring is where the word restaurant originates. Un restaurant in French meant something restoring, a restaurant, essentially, a good hearty soup to heal the sick, and that's where the word restaurant comes from. Boulanger's experience was revolutionary for several reasons. His shop had small marble-top tables where patrons could sit individually. He offered a menu allowing customers to choose what they wanted, and patrons could order at any time during opening hours. While historical accounts differ on the exact layout of the venue, the concept of individual choice and more flexible dining was taking root, and that was considered novel. But at the time, food guilds were powerful in France in the 1760s, and they didn't like this at all. In particular, his success drew the ire of a powerful guild of traiteurs, a prepared food monopoly in Paris. They sued him, arguing that he was illegally selling meat dishes that weren't stews, which fell under their purview. So they should have been able to have the first rights at it. But in a landmark legal battle in 1765, Boulanger won. He argued that his restoratives were just health-giving broths, not the elaborate prepared meats that the traiteurs controlled. And this legal victory broke the guild's monopoly and paved the way for others to open similar establishments. And the idea quickly caught on, and it was further fueled by the French Revolution. When the old aristocratic system collapsed, many talented chefs who had worked in private mansions were suddenly out of a job. And they began opening their own establishments, bringing high-end culinary skills to the public for the first time. By the late 18th century, numerous restaurants were popping up in Paris, offering increasingly elaborate menus and a more refined dining experience. These new establishments catered to a burgeoning middle class who desired a different kind of culinary experience outside the home, one that offered choice, convenience, and sophistication. So there you have it. People have been buying prepared food for millennia, but the modern restaurant, the kind with menus, private tables, and meals served on your schedule, supposedly began with one Parisian broth shop, broke centuries of guild control, and quietly launched a dining revolution that reshaped the way we eat today. Go check out my sources, which can be found in the YouTube description. Give me a comment, rate, like, subscribe, share this with someone who likes this sort of thing. Let me know what you thought about Food Week, if there was any food facts that particularly stood out to you. Would love to know that. Go check out the short version I do of all of these, for that little condensed version I do of these on social media everywhere, at smartest year ever, everywhere. And in the meantime, stay curious and stay clever on our quest to become the world's greatest conversationalist. It is 80 degrees, and here I am so hot. I will see you tomorrow in the smartest year ever.